I have a confession. So there was this bump on my cheek and it looked like a mole. And so I was like, I think this could be a mole because like I don't remember not having a mole. Maybe it is a mole. And then it came to a head. So guess it wasn't a mole, y'all. It was actually a zit. And I didn't know. Which estheticians would appreciate that story.
Yes, which every esthetician is like, oh God, yeah, no, I could have helped you with that. And I've had a client with this story.
Well, I should have known too. And I was starting to think about like, hey, this could be because I had one on the other side. It happens on my cheeks.
Yeah. Oh no.
Whatever. We're here. I didn't pick it. There's no scarring. You should be proud. Yay.
Everybody out there, tiny celebrations. If you watched last episode about not picking it.
It'll be gone later. You can, if you're watching the video, you can see it. Maybe you can't because there's a lot of freckles over here, but whatever. Shit happens.
We're all very excited. All right, let's get started. Hi, I'm Sybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses. Running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
Oh my God, we are figuring it out. But I've already figured it out, I think. But we promise to share everything we know about what it takes to get 6 figures and beyond.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
I'll be honest, a bunch of it totally sucks. But let's get started.
Yes. Welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we are talking about perfectionism and most importantly, how to know if you are a perfectionist and also working with realistic goals so that you can keep making progress in your business.
But first, how to talk to your clients about what's going on in the world right now.
Because 2021 does not disappoint.
Right. Remember how we had that episode where it was like, there is 2020 new? 2021 new? Not really. I don't know. Suddenly it feels like maybe we do have a different can of worms. I don't know. Storming the castle.
Interesting. I think the difference for me, though, is now, like I know what my tendencies are, right? Like I know my numbing, I know what I'm going to do, I know what I want to turn to. Like it's the shock and horror of what you thought was like one of the most awful things that could happen. And not that like this is obviously there's way other more awful things that have happened and are happening and all of that. But it's like, just when you think it couldn't get worse, it gets a little bit worse, but it's still only like 10% worse. And so all of the skills of coping that I have been, using this year, I'm like, oh yeah. Okay. So I know for 2-3 days, I'm going to go deep into the news. I'm going to be reading the news all the time. I'm going to be on Reddit. I'm going to be not sleeping. But that's a choice I'm making.
Right. Right. And so if everybody who's watching this and you're like watching this in the past, and you're like, wow, what the heck are they talking about? So it is January in 2021, and we had a bit of a siege on Capitol, on the Capitol.
A bit of a siege, a coup. Oh my God.
Also, if people didn't pay attention, you weren't deep into the news, we actually had sieges on lots of capitals all across America.
Yep.
So it was not just in Washington. So lots of stuff going on, lots of triggering for people happening, lots of, oh my God, how could this happen here? Yeah. Yeah. And because of that, I think that we've had episodes that we talked about Black Lives Matter, which is coming up again. Not like it's ever gone away, but we have an episode where we talk about that. I'll pop it up there. And we also have a whole episode where we talk about how do you discuss this with clients? How do you discuss this kind of stuff with clients? So if you're in your treatment room, clients are going to come and they're going to like be talking about this. How do you deal with this kind of situation? And if you're not seeing the clients right now, one of the things I wanted to make sure I talk about is reaching out to your clientele. And Alex was like, well, would you send this to your whole list? Well, my list, I would, because all of them are pretty much my clients. They're all my personal core clients. Now, someone like Alex, maybe she'd send them to just the people who are her like base.
Yeah.
Maybe like your mavens.
Yeah.
Right. So choose that not maybe that master list, but like that's very precise list of people who are like dedicated to you or your fans. We've had an episode about fans, the specific people who are paying you, who are close to you. But, reach out and talk to them, and say something like, the world's going crazy. I'm here for you. And tell them how you feel, what's going on with you, and that if they need somebody to talk to, you're available. And
You
how
don't
you're feeling.
share things that you're doing that are working right now. Cause like, I know exactly in the email, I'm going to say, hey, here's something that I turn to when I know I'm stressed. And actually I have been turning to right now, and it's been super helpful.
Yeah, self-care. The same things that you would be talking to them about when they were seeing you in person.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. So like for me, I said, I had actually already had an email for the new year. And so I was like, hey guys, I had an email drafted for the new year. I just trashed that email. And here's the email I'm putting out. And instead it's, hi, how are you doing? It might not be great, but hopefully you're doing better now that I'm dropping you an email.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see you in person, but I wish my hands were on you. Let's do a self massage together. And I sent them a video of a self massage, right? Then I sent them a couple products that they might have or they don't have that are about, smelling good and feeling good. And, pressure points that are good, supplements they might decide they want to take, things like that can be helping them. Meditation. Alex,
Mm-hmm.
you'd probably have a journal, something they could be journaling and thinking about.
Oh my God, how did I do now?
Right. So things like that. And then also just, I always just make sure that I say, I'm here if you'd like to have somebody to talk to. I miss talking to you. I miss seeing you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I mean, I feel just in general, with the pandemic and the world, having other people to talk to is definitely something that I miss, because like, I mean, obviously I talk to you, Sybil, every week,
Right.
and, like you have your people, but just being able to like talk to strangers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone else has experienced this too, but like this week I was writing, like a podcast outline for the Body Nerd Show. And I had a moment where I was like, man, I miss, taking a shower at the gym. And there was like a moment of nostalgia of just like, wow, that's like that's not going to happen again anytime super soon. And like, I have at this point zero reason to go back to the gym anyways. So yeah, it was just the nostalgia of like, oh, here we are in another year and it's still happening. So if I'm just sharing this, like if you are feeling all of these things too, just know like you're not alone.
Right. So once again, this is something that, I know that it's our job, and my email even said that it's my job to always still happy and up and upbeat for you guys. But just, I feel these things and I have been feeling sad at times. And so, it's okay to reach out to me when you don't feel good too, because I know for me, it's hard for me to reach out to people when I feel sad. We're people of like, we have to be happy all the time and we have to be on. But for me, you don't have to be. And I think that it's really hard right now for people. And so I know for me, I have a call list. And so I've been making my way through my call list to my clients. Last week, I call 4 people a week. And I just reach out. And a lot of times I get their voicemail because people don't pick up their phones. And I'm just like, hi, this is Sybil, just saying hi. And you'd be surprised how many people pick up a phone for me. They're like, oh my God, it's you. Yeah. And that's how they say, they're like, oh my God, it's you. And I'm like, hi, yeah, I just wanted to say hi, nothing going on. Just wanted to chat. Next thing you know, an hour later, we've had a conversation.
Yeah. And I think it's also that just like reaching out from someone like, I love my bubble and we're keeping each other safe. I'm also tired of my bubble, And so, yeah, being able to like have that surprise conversation with someone who like you haven't heard from in a while is nice. It's super nice.
Yeah, it takes time. And, I want to be honest with people. It's not a sales call. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I never bring up product, anything like that. I ask them how they're doing. If they bring up product or their sales or whatever, I always have a conversation about it. But that's not what the call is about. It's just a reach out call to say hello, make sure they're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
It's like being a kind and conscientious human. Oh my God,
yeah,
what a novel idea.
It's just being a person right now. And it's the difference between, having a client and having a salesperson.
Yeah.
And this is what we make. We have made in our relationship with many of our clientele, we have made a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the difference between us and a lot of our clientele is that we have a relationship.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, that's like part of the beauty of the industry, pun intended, that you do have such a close relationship because people are in a like a vulnerable type of position. They're laying on a bed, you know, a
Right.
lot of times like in various states of undress. And so to pretend like that relationship just like goes away because you're not seeing people, like I think, and sort of exactly like you're saying too, like this isn't a business call, this isn't a sales call, it's just like a human connection call, because I feel like we all need more connection in our lives.
Right. Right. And if you think about what you often have conversations with your clients about, while they're lying on that bed, you're having conversations with their kids, their family, their life experiences. And that's all you're doing is you're just having that conversation that they're missing out on and that you're missing out on. You're just keeping up with them. That's it. That's the only thing you're doing. And, you know, I try to keep it usually keeps it to about an hour, and that's it. And then I say goodbye, and I'll say, I always say, have you on my list. I'll call you again. You're always welcome to call me. You know, they never do. They never call me, but they're on my list, and I'll reach out to them. It usually is like every 3 to 4 months, I'll reach out to them again.
And so you're doing 4 people a week?
4 people a week. I have 4 people a week that I call, and I have I call my deep list. So I have like a bigger roster of clients, and then I have what I call my deep list. And the deep list are the people that are like, saw me regularly, spent, you know, a certain amount of money with me all the time. And that deep list is about 295 people. Right. Now, understand that those people, I am currently in Vegas. I might not be in Los Angeles for a while, but I'm still keeping in contact with them.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Those are people who have meant something to me. They're people who I care about, and that they still potentially purchase product from me. They're people who are in my life.
Yeah. Curious too, like now that you've had a couple months in Vegas, just like pivoting from the end of the world.
6 months.
6 months?
6 months. It's been 6 months.
Since August already?
August, September, October, November, December, January.
Where the fuck?
I know, right? Half a year, guys. Half a year.
Oh my God. I feel like you just left.
I know. 6 months. 6 months, everyone. 6 months that I've been in since I've been in Vegas.
Oh my God. Okay. So curious, like where you see yourself, like, let's just say a year from now, like with your business and like how it's existing.
Yeah.
Right now.
I mean, this is the hardest thing as somebody who's like a planner, like I am. It's great reason to move into our next section, which is perfectionism. I can't plan. There's no planning right now. I feel that there is virtually no planning that far in advance right now in how the world is, which makes it very hard for me to do anything because I can't even see that far out. There's no vision. Like for me, the farthest I can plan out is like 3 months.
Okay. So then what about 3 months? Like, what are you thinking? Because I'm just curious because, you had one business, or one iteration of a business. It has closed. You moved. I know you are, people see you and it's
right. I still see people, whatever. So, I mean, I got my reciprocity, my Nevada license here. I have just made that happen. Huzzah. Which felt kind of weird because it meant that really I'm a Nevada esthetician now, not just a California.
I mean, you've been there for 6 months. Like, how the hell did that happen?
I both am in Nevada and in California. I'm bilingual. I see myself as I'm definitely putting classes together. So I have my first class here in January. I have my nap time facial. Hold on, I'm rolling away for a second. I've got the pamphlet. Ta-da! Nap time facial booklet. By the way, I picked it up from my printer in Burbank, California.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you print it there or here? Because that's
I did. I printed it with my Burbank printer because she's so good at her job and I love her so much. Burbank printing for all my people in California. She's amazing. Burbank printing. Oh, fantastic. Kim, love you. And so I have that class here in January, and I'm going to be hopefully doing a couple more classes, and I'm hopefully pulling together everything to do some more online classes. So I have, oh my goodness. So that is what I'm mostly pulling together. I'm pulling together all of my packets and everything to do all my online courses.
Yeah. So the nap time facial, have you taught this class in person?
Yeah, I did. Actually, the last time I taught this was during the pandemic. So right at the day that the pandemic happened,
right.
I taught this class and everyone flew home and then went on lockdown.
Right. I remember that. Okay. So you've taught it twice in person, which means for sure it's ready to go online.
Yep,
Because
it's ready. So I feel like this will be the last time that I have to this will be the last iteration where I'll be like, I got that. I'm ready to go. I feel like it's solid now.
Because that's a really good tip too for people who are considering, moving courses or something online. Is, have I taught this in person? Because I feel like they're putting something online doesn't just like, I just put it up and like people show up and like it sells and they learn and like that's it. That's all I have to do. Right.
Yeah.
I really want you to think about online as just like another medium, but you want a similar type of experience, especially for the student. I want them to learn the things. I want them to have that change and transformation, that transference of confidence, which is something I just learned. I was like, oh yeah. Right. And having taught it in person, you can iron out the kinks and then put it online and know with confidence that you can make that happen similarly.
Right. Also, you can think to yourself, so one of the things that's great about teaching it in person and then putting it online is you teach it in person, you hear about what's going on, you know that you've taught it in person, you put it online, and you know that also people who are like, hey, I did the online, but I still feel I'm missing a few things. You know what they're missing because you have taught it in person. You're like, oh, I know what you're missing. It's cool. And so you can often make the class shorter in person, which that in-person time is actually the hardest time for somebody. Because, being in person classes, it takes up a lot of time for people. It's travel, it's hotel, it's meals, it's hard.
And you don't remember everything that you learn anyway. So that was like always my argument for online is like, okay, but I can come back to it again and again. I'm not shelling out all of that money and then I'm only going to retain 40% of it, which is typically what happens if you think you're learning more. I'm sorry, you're just joking yourself. But I don't want to talk all the way about course creation.
Yes, that's a whole other thing.
As a whole nother topic, I want to talk about perfectionism. So we were talking before we hit record about perfectionism, and something that was I heard on a podcast, and I felt personally victimized by this statement. Was like, well, you don't think you're a perfectionist because you're not perfect. And I've said this to myself all the time. Well, I'm not perfect. Like I put up stuff that's imperfect all the time. And as a perfectionist, of course, it's never good enough because you think that everything has to be perfect. So if that's you, guess what? You're a perfectionist.
So Alex said something beautiful as we started today. She was like, no, perfectionists don't think they're perfect. She's like, when I heard that, I felt so seen. And I'm like, I feel seen right now.
Yeah. Right.
Because
I never thought I was good enough. Yeah, it's never good enough, but you put it out anyways. You tinker with it 5 trillion times. You maybe just like walk away because I do this too. I like overthink it to the point where it's so complicated. And then I just walk away because I'm like, there's no way. I can't figure this out.
Yeah, or you have like, say for me, I have like a million half-started projects, half-started tabs. So
what brought this brow guide, Sybil?
So just wrote it down, browse. So what made me do this is I literally have 6 classes that I'm 3/4 of the way finished. 3/4 of the way finished. And I'll be like, can't finish it. It's just not fucking good. Never mind. I suck. I can't do this. Whatever. Could be better if it had these things in it, and I don't have those things, and it's just too hard. Forget it.
No, my favorite I've heard from you too is like, well, now everything's old. I have to redo it. Yes.
Well, the brow guide, by the way, is amazing. The brow guide, it is amazing. I just re-looked at it, and I'm like, why have I not finished this guide? It's amazing. It's amazing.
What are you waiting for?
I actually do need to finish it. It's 3/4 of the way finished. It just needs to be finished editing.
Is it just editing?
Yeah, I have to finish editing it.
Okay, well, what are you doing this afternoon?
Definitely not finishing editing it right now, but I will. It's like, it actually is. I've been working. So my brow guide, you'd be so proud. So I found it on Monday when I was going through. I have like all of my different guides because it's not the only guide I have not finished editing.
I know, but that's when I
Monday brow guide gets done.
Monday of next week?
No. So like I work on each one. So how I've discovered that I don't get super enwrapped into my perfectionism is I give myself blocks of time to work on it and then I step away from it.
Yeah, that's great.
Like just like writing. So I do the same thing with writing. I tend not to get as perfectionism with writing. And I think it's because when I was in school, my instructor would be like, you write for a certain amount of time and you have to get it done and then you leave.
Yes.
And like, so Jane Schaefer was like, this is how you have to get it done.
Yeah.
And I found that if I do that with like all of my editing and stuff, I do better now. So I have 3 different guides that I started that if I edit for 1 hour and I walk away, when I come back, I'm like, oh, this looks good. Just move on. Instead of tinkering for forever.
Yeah.
So Mondays is brow guide.
Okay. I have what happens on Tuesdays? I have ideas and comments right now.
So Tuesdays I'm working on my face cleaning guide.
Okay. Stop yourself right there. You have thoughts here.
Okay.
Number 1, why haven't you hired somebody to edit?
Okay. Mostly because it is actually hard to have somebody edit the material that is actually the teaching material. Because, and like, it isn't a perfectionism thing. It's like literally like, how do I have somebody edit the teaching portion? Like I'm teaching somebody how to do brows with the material.
So listeners, viewers, do you guys hear what she's saying that she didn't say? What she meant to say, but she didn't say was that I'm the only one who can do it right.
I'm the only one who can do it. I'm the only one who can do it.
Okay, but I also like I'm getting sweaty palms saying that too because I understand as well because you know we can't duplicate ourselves and oftentimes because I do this too, right? There are some things where I'm like, you know what? It would take me just as long to explain how to do this to somebody as it would for me to just do it myself. So let me just do it.
It's 100% true.
Yeah. So maybe for sure, right? This guide, these guides aren't, wait, what'd you say?
This is my secret shame.
You know, maybe these guides are what you work on, but maybe there's something else, you know, that you're able to outsource or change up that will allow you to have that time. Okay. That's level A.
Yes.
Level B that I want to just totally call your bullshit on is imagine you are pushing boulders up the side of Griffith Park. Okay. What is going to be easier, 4 medium-sized boulders or just 1 boulder? All at the same time.
Medium-sized boulders.
4 medium-sized boulders because you're going to push one up and the other one's going to fall down. You're going to run up and push that one up, and then you're going to run and push the other one. It all has to be at the same time.
I still say medium-sized boulders.
Okay, so here's the fallacy in that idea. If you are diverting your focus and attention to a bunch of different projects, I 100% agree with doing the time blocks because you can't go and do, 18 hours of editing because you get into the tinkering. It's fucking boring for anyone with video stuff. Like I hear you on that. But when you're trying, like finish one and then go back and finish another one instead of trying to finish like 5 concurrently. What do you think about that?
Okay. Well, I like that you said, what do you think about that? I'm glad. Thank you, Wax Queen. So, so why do you only work on so like I would do like a block on Monday of the brows and then a block on Tuesday in the brows. But I feel, okay, so for me personally, I feel like there's not enough space between them that I need more space because I'll be like, I need this tinkering, the getting out of my head tinkering space.
Okay. I have thoughts.
Tell me.
Number 1, you haven't finished it yet. So what you've been doing, it's not working, right? It's not done yet.
It's closer than it's been for a long time.
But also, as a online course creator, I know that there's 50 million other aspects of that course that need to be completed before you post it live that aren't.
Okay.
Right?
To do one of the other things.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I like this idea.
Okay. So there's copy that needs to be written.
Okay.
There's sales pages that need to be created. There are email sequences.
That's what I'm giving to somebody else to do.
Cool. Go ahead and outsource that so that all of those other elements are done. Is the product set up in the cart? Is the sales page ready to buy? Is there, a upsell in the cart? Like all of those other things, like spend some time thinking about those as well.
Okay. All right.
So, like I have a launch in 2 weeks from the time of this recording. And I was going to like, oh, I'll just wait till the new year. But then I looked at my calendar and I was like, oh, shoot, that's only like 4 weeks. I would much rather do like one thing this week and one thing the next week and one thing the week after that than spend a week going like, oh my God, I got to get everything done because I have this hard deadline, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So set yourself a deadline maybe of when you're like, I'm going to have it ready for final review by this date.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite thing too, because I know you and I have talked about this about deadlines,
Yeah.
is tell people like on social media that a course is coming. I will move hell and high water to not disappoint strangers on the internet.
I would do better if I
myself.
pre-sold it. I would do better if I pre-sold it. So you know how you've talked before about pre-selling something?
Yeah.
If I pre-sold it, because I'm like, nobody actually cares or pays attention. But if I've actually pre-sold it, then I have a deadline where people have actually given me money.
Right. So to pre-sell it, you need your cart at least set up.
Yes. So I need a cart set up, and I probably need like a sales page, like a basic sales page.
Yeah, which could even be on your cart page.
Yeah, but like just a basic sales page.
So
All right.
This is literally how I have learned to work with my perfectionism. All of this being said, like there are still times where I'm on a, like for me, web design is something that I totally get like bogged down in.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm like,
by the way, this is when you get bogged down, guys. This is when you actually just source it. So like I've learned I should just source this shit out. Like I hate it. It makes me want to die.
I can't afford it yet. That's part of it. I also just like you're saying, I get up and walk away.
Yeah.
And if you have spent like more than 10 minutes on one thing, you're stuck. Just like get up and walk away and go do something else.
Right.
But let's say like this realistic goal expectation, we paint this like huge picture. Like I need the brow guide done, right? Without actually breaking down, like, what does it actually entail? What are all of the elements of this that need to happen? Because maybe there is one that's super small. Like right now, I want to pre-sell it. So I need a sales page and the cart. Right. And that's something that I know you can knock out in an afternoon. For some of you, that might be a week, but that's fine. That's one thing that gets you closer rather than having this big cloud hanging over you for 2 years now?
No, it's 18 months probably.
18 months. Okay. It's been a while.
18 months probably. Yeah.
I did trim my brows this morning though, based on what I learned from you. So.
I know. It's and like I said, like I literally went back at the beginning of the year and looked at like all my different like guides that I've started and been like, these are all fucking really good. Why am I being a little bitch about it?
Just get one done.
Just because you're a fucking perfectionist and you just need to fucking get them done. Stop being a little bitch. And just get it done. Just get the fucking thing done.
Getting the one done. And I think there's also a lot of power in learning how you work best. Because I know you were talking too about like working on projects with other people and how that helps you get motivated. For me, it's like deadlines, public deadlines, definitely having somebody else to be accountable to. Like, I told you I was going to get to you by Friday. Like, I'm going to fucking get it to you by Friday, you know?
Yeah.
And just other things. And the best way to learn this, truthfully, is just do something. You got to take the action. You got to mess up. You have to, take that imperfect action time and time again, and you'll figure it out from there.
It's true. And you have to be real with yourself. You have to like, when you're struggling with something, you have to be able to sit down, and Alex would be like, you have to journal it, whatever. You have to sit, for me, I have to sit down with myself, and I like have like, I give myself a good talking to. So like I'm a verbal learner. So I talk to myself. Like if people like if you've come into my office ever and you've like heard me talking to myself, it's because I'm having a conversation with myself. I'll be like, listen, you're not getting this done. Why aren't you getting it done? I don't know. Why am I not getting this? It's because of this reason. This is what I do to myself. I have conversations with myself. And the conversation I had with myself was, you're not getting this shit done because you're a fucking perfectionist. You are just not getting this shit done. And it was based on a Skinfessional episode we had where I was re-editing it. And I was like, yeah, I'm a perfectionist. Yeah.
Another thing that I found to be super helpful was Gretchen Rubin's 4 Tendencies. So she has a book on this. I'm pretty sure she has a program. I know she has a quiz online that'll help you identify which of the 4 tendencies you are.
Rubin, Rubin.
Yes,
Rubin.
we'll link to it in the description as well.
Yeah.
And the 4 tendencies are about how you deal with expectations, whether you are like an internal, like you can set expectations for yourself internally and just like get it done. based on all the things I've just told you, you can tell that's not me. I'm more of an external processor. Where I need somebody else, right, to hold me accountable. But then there's also the questioner, which I have a lot of tendencies to be like, which is if it makes sense, I'll do it. And if it doesn't make sense, I literally cannot make it happen. So I ask a bunch of questions. And when it finally clicks, like I just had this, I feel like we talked about it last episode about like money and budgeting. Something clicked for me. And it's super basic thing, but I was like, oh, I get it now. And I'll never have to learn that lesson again, you know? And then there is the rebel, which is our dear sweet Sybil here, who says F it all to everything and all of the above.
Yes. Yes. But we've discovered that also I need accountability because, you know, so we all have little pieces of things and, you know, some of it is your life lessons. But yes, I am, as my boyfriend would say, very contrary. And I don't like to be told what to do. And hence the reason I own a business. And I don't work well with others. You know, on your report card where you used to get those little things that they'd be like, oh, works well with others. OS. Yeah. No, mine was always very poor. As a kid, mine was always like very poor and sat in a corner.
You're just like, these are all idiots. I'm not doing this.
I just don't. And it's not that I'm not a good team player. I'm just like, why would I do what you say when I don't like what you're saying?
I'm just going to imagine like 8-year-old Sybil, just the same, like, this is dumb.
I had, so 8-year-old Sybil had her name on the board every single day with a check mark next to it. My mom would be like, I'd come home, she'd be like, where's the paper for me to sign? Because I was not a good kid. I was a good kid, but like, I just was not a good student when
Did you like talk back or what?
I talked back a lot. I was not the person you wanted in your school.
Oh my gosh.
I was definitely a rebel, but it wasn't like I was a bad kid. I was just a kid who would be like, why do you want me to do what you're telling me to do? I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, my questioner nature also got me in trouble. I talked too much.
We've been best friends.
Oh, totally. Because I remember my music teacher, 7th grade, Mrs. Branchflower. I disliked everything about her. I thought this is so righteous and entitled. I know. I was like, she has no business teaching students. Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And because of that questioner nature, I was like, this is bullshit. I'm not participating. Except that I was in a class and, you know, my mother was on the school board. So it wasn't like I could just hide. I got my instrument taken away from me that year. My mother was very mad. It was went to the principal's office a couple times. It was fun times.
I bet you nearly every single one of our listeners has these stories because I have found that almost all solopreneurs have these tendencies where they're just like, yeah, no, like I had hard times in school. I was not the best student. And you know what? It's because to be an entrepreneur, to be somebody who owns a business, you have to be a little bit of a questioner, a little bit of a rebel.
Yeah.
You have to have these tendencies. You're not just a go along with the flower.
No. Or even like, actually, what do you think about this? I know I was a little off topic, but the desire to make more money. I think once I started my own business because I didn't want to do what other people told me to do. And then once I realized that I was now in control of how much money I could make, then that also became another kind of like driving force. And I've spoken to other people similar age who are totally fine having a 9-to-5 and working a job. And they're like, well, I mean, I'm already comfortable with what money I make. Like, I don't need to make more.
Ready? Comfortable. That is actually the word. Comfortable. Right. I don't know. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. So I grew up in a family of, my dad was a failed entrepreneur many times, but I just knew from a young age that I did not want to work for other people. Like that I did not do well being told what to do.
No.
And I would probably never work for people unless you were a person who was like, hey, you have a job. This is your job. Go off and do it. And when you come back, as long as the job is done, I don't care how you did it.
Yes. Oh my God. I hate that.
So I had a mentor that was my job. And I was like, that's great. So, but if you like asked me questions like, why did you do it that way? Why do you care? Is the job done? Leave me the F alone. Like coming in and clocking in at certain times. What?
Yeah, I'm like,
What is that world?
just let me do it because I know that my way is the best.
Right. So this is why I knew at a very young age that I was not going to be able to work for others. It was just for a certain amount of time I could tolerate it to get like to a place that I needed to, but then like no, it's not going to be a good scene.
Yeah.
And I bet there are a lot of people out there who are like,
yep. Check.
Right.
Okay. So let's like circle back to perfectionism because oh my goodness. I think this was what I've been meaning to tell you all morning. I didn't remember.
Oh, tell me.
And was super helpful. Okay. So there's this new app, a social app called Clubhouse. It's like live podcasting where you can have conversations with people. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, no, for whatever reason, everyone, I apologize. Apparently my computer turned itself back on disturb mode.
Oh, okay. I was just like, what's going on? Okay.
I was like, I had to turn off do not disturb again because like I was getting notifications.
I know. All right. So this app on Clubhouse, you can hop into conversations and just, listen in on conversations, talk with people. And it's pretty cool. It's really triggering for my FOMO. So I'm keeping good distance.
I feel you. I feel you on that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Because nothing.
Like what's going on in Clubhouse? I'm not there right now. Oh my God. It's like 2:00 in the morning. Things are happening.
Not a whole lot, but yes. Okay. So this conversation, this guy was talking about like vision and like, what's your vision for the new year? And I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And then he was really super cool. And he brought me up on stage. So he was like asking me all these questions, which was also more interesting. And like, he's like, a vision is, why do you do what you do? A lot of the times the motivation comes from wanting to like help people in their life. Right. And then also making money. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Like, I felt a little guilty about saying that, but that's absolutely true. Why I do what I do. I know that life without pain is possible. And I also know that when my clients are able to experience that, it just completely changes their confidence and how they experience life. And they're able to really, truly enjoy their life. And I also want to make money. And then the question I had for him, which is like pure perfectionism at play, I was like, okay, but how do I know when enough is enough? Like, how do I know when I'm doing enough and it's good enough and I am enough for what's going on? Because as a perfectionist, it feels like you're just on like this hamster wheel, right?
Yeah.
There's no finish line. Even if you get it out, it's out, but like it could have been better. Or it could have been this or it could have been that. Like there is no finish line for me, which also is part of like my genius, and how I've been able to do it. So I don't want it to go away, but like, how can I get to a place where I can just breathe like, it's good enough, And so then he started talking about values. And for him, it was peace. And when he felt at peace, he knew that he was like on the right path. And I had this light bulb moment. I was just like, oh my gosh, for me, it's fun. And that doesn't mean that the thing I have to be doing is fun by any stretch. Like I don't really enjoy editing, right? But I do it anyways. But reframing it, as long as I'm having fun, as long as you're having fun, you're doing it right. And so I'm sharing this story because I want you, dear listener, to also think about, what's important to you really, right? At the end of the day, everything's gone. What's actually important to you? So I had a day this week where literally I knocked out so many things. Like Mondays are always like my most busy day of the week because I know I'm fresh. I'm excited. I'm able to like churn out content. I wrote podcast episodes, I recorded podcasts. Like I did all of this stuff. And I still at the end of the day was like, it wasn't enough. I didn't do enough. And then I remembered that conversation. Wait, did you have fun today? I was like,
it was enough.
Absolutely. I got to wake up. I got to have a slow morning, do my morning routine, get a workout in, go on a walk with my dog. I had a fun lunch. I got to watch Bridgerton. Like I got to do all these things. Yes. So it was enough. And it totally just like relieved me of the pressure of perfectionism and the hustle to like do more, which I know that many of us feel. And I truthfully feel like that was such a huge, just like, so for those of you who are stuck on that hamster wheel, like what is it all about for you? Like what really is your value? Like what would you say just from that?
Well, I know for me, when I don't think I have trouble feeling like I have enough. My value is always, I know I've done like a good job. I know that it's like enough when, for me, it's my numbers are good. So this has been a hard year for me because like I look at my numbers and I'm like, I'm making no money. I'm making no money at all.
Yeah, but I think there's like personal values. I want you to go deeper than just that.
Yeah. So, but that's one of my big values. So the second one is always when I know that I'm accomplishing my goals. So I know, and so like for me, I actually keep a list of, remember how we've had an episode where I was like, what is your, like, you have a main goal and you have a secondary goal. When I know that everything I'm doing in that day has like moved me closer to one of those goals, I'll be like, so sometimes it's easy as like, I cleaned off my desk. That moved me to a goal.
Right.
I'm still moving to that goal. I don't think I have as many problems feeling like I'm doing enough. That is not a
Well, I was going to ask, what does accomplishing that goal, like another level, like why? Like, why does that matter for you?
The why for me is it'll get me there.
Where?
It'll get me to the next thing. I don't know. We've had this conversation before that I don't really feel accomplishments. Like I don't.
No, I know. I think I feel like there's a deeper, bigger, like if all of this went away, all of it, like I feel like there still would be something for you that's more than just numbers and like moving closer towards goals. So I'm encouraging you to like
look deeper,
think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, because I don't know if there is.
I think there is. You just like, tell me about your cruise at home.
Okay, so guys, we did a cruise at home and it went, it went all right. It went all right. We did okay. So if our last day was successful.
Yeah. What happened on the last day?
The last day was successful. So we successfully had a high tea, which was very nice. And we had a fire in the evening with s'mores, which was fantastic.
Sounds so good.
It was so freaking good. And we watched the stars at night and we had a food adventure where we went out to this place where they do fancy soda and you can get sodas and all. Neil's got a butterbeer one. And I know, right? And they had a coconut beverage where I could put boba in it when I came home.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was awesome. So it's called Pop Drink. And so we did that and that was really nice. And we went out to Red Rock. And drove around and saw Red Rock. And so it was really, really great. So it all kind of coalesced into like, oh, we finally succeeded at this. Yay. The other days were apparently bad trial runs.
Brad, well, it's also the first time, right?
Yeah.
And what you were trying, or what I hoped was the goal of that was to get some elements of the cruise at home, right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, and we debriefed it pretty well. And I will be honest with people. My man is always a little grumpy his first few days. So I felt like completely like a normal cruise. I was like, no, this is how it is. It felt just like a regular cruise. He's always kind of grumpy the first few days. He's not going to change. So apparently even change at home was horrible.
Well, we should do this exercise with Nils too. So at the end of the successful day of the cruise, would you say like you feel accomplished? I feel, like it was fine. Like, that's the thing. I feel like it was fine and it went well. I feel like it was fine and it went well and my day was over. I'm not buying it. There's got to be more. See, this is the thing I'm really going to tell you. I just generally am like, well, that was successful and that was nice. And it was a good day. Was it fun? Was it restful? Did you have adventure? Was it time with your man? I mean, it was fine and I enjoyed myself enough. Okay, so perfect day, not the cruise at home. Perfect day. Everything is exactly how you want. What would you do? Yeah. This is what happened. Journal. Yeah. Get back to me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get back to you. So, this is where I'm telling you, I have no dopamine receptors. It's a whole different world for me. Things that make people happy. I'm just like, okay, best day ever. I check my numbers. Happy. It's not even about happy. Well, then what are you seeking? Is it like, you're just like,
really
Getting to do all the things that you want to do in the way you want to do them to me is like,
okay. So when I realized, last year, not last year, the year before, I realized that I was living my best life. I was like, I'm living my best life. I'm literally going to 2 theater shows a week. I am buying concessions at movie theaters and seeing like a movie a week. And I can order anything off of a menu. And that's when I realized that I'm living and I'm traveling, right? And I'm like, I'm living the life that I wanted to as a kid. And I was like, this is awesome. Actually, I said, this is rad. I'm like, this is rad. I'm like, this is all I wanted as a kid. I'm living my best life. This is my dream come true. And for me, that was all I ever wanted.
And is it like the freedom of being able to like buy whatever you want?
Yeah, it's the fulfillment of not ever worrying about stress, like not ever worrying about money or stress or like the need to like think about the security. It's security. I have security.
Okay.
It's the security.
Okay.
Listeners out there, if you're like, I need security in my life, let me know. If you grew up crazy, crazy poor and security is super important for you, raise your hand. Right? If you did not know where your meal was going to come from, raise your hand. Right? So security is a big issue for me, which is why running numbers and like knowing where like everything's based on numbers for me is so important.
And that's I would say that that's probably like, and was what I was trying to get to is like, what is it about that? So it's like the running numbers is yes, but it feeds back to that sense of security.
That sense of security.
When you are stuck in that cycle of perfectionism and just like tinkering and all that stuff, like literally pause and hit yourself, hit pause and ask yourself is what I'm trying to say. Like, is this fulfilling my desire to have security?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So if you're somebody who needs the security, so like it could be like, I need security. It could be, I need to find fulfillment in, a connection with someone. So yours is, you need to find fun and joy, right? So that's a really good point. Okay. I get where you're going there.
Right. Which is also like pre-pandemic. Whenever I would feel burned out, I knew that if I got a trip to Disneyland and was able to spend a day there, that would like propel me for like the next like 2 months before I would burn out again and need to go there again. Right. And so that's also, I would say, the gift of this quarantine time. All of our coping skills that were really just kind of like getting us along, but not really giving us the tools that are going to propel you to all of the places you want to go. Like, you got to face your shit. I mean, you don't have to, but if you really want to grow and you really want to step into that vision of your life in the way you want it, like, you have to uncover and peel back all of these layers, be real clear of who you are and what you need and how you fulfill that.
And I got to be honest with you guys. So I know we're talking about perfectionism. And one of the things is that with perfectionism is it's one of the things that you'll come into contact with yourself and you'll be like, oh, right. You don't want to see it. You don't want to know about it. And there'll be other things. There'll be these dark places inside of you that the pandemic, it shows you, and don't shy away from it. It's okay. The only way to embrace it, and it's okay. Our dark places, you embrace them or you let them go. Right. And a lot of the places you're just going to embrace them because they're part of you and you're probably not going to fix them or whatever. You're just going to embrace them.
No, or go to therapy, get a journal.
As somebody who's done a bunch of therapy, it's not going to fix you. You're just going to embrace it. You're just going to learn to love it. And you might like, and deal with it and be like, I find ways to manage it. But so we just talked about like the Gretchen Rubin, and one of the questions in like the four tendencies. The 4 tendencies was, when people ask you to do something that you want to do you still just say no because they asked you? And I asked Alex, I'm like, well, I don't, but I want to. I want to tell them no. But I've learned out of all my therapy over the years to say, no, of course I'll do that. Because technically I want to, but I want to tell them no. The rebel inside me wants to be like, no, I don't want to do that because you asked me to do it.
How dare you?
Right? And so I was like, well, how to answer it? And she's like, well, you're going to answer it like the inside voice. So you're gonna answer it. But I'll tell you, it took years of therapy for me to be, okay, I will totally do that. But inside I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to do it.
No, for sure. And I think this circles like puts a nice big bow on this entire conversation is that if you are a perfectionist, like that's also a trait that you can use to your advantage. And the way to do that is exactly like you're saying, is know yourself, know how you work, lean into your strengths, and then pay people to do what you're not good at. Like,
that's right.
I mean, there's no reason, like life is too short for us to be like trying to stuff ourselves into boxes in which we are never going to fit and we have no interest in fitting. So like, just let your freak flag fly, do what you want to do and figure out how you can, you know, like a plant, put yourself in the perfect environment to grow big and tall.
Right. And also find the other people who, one of my great mentors once said, the best relationships are where your neuroses match somebody else's neuroses and click. And I always respect that because I was like, you know what? It is correct. If you find someone who like your crazy matches their crazy and you click together like little puzzle pieces, then you have a great partnership because that person will look at you and be like, oh, you know what? I got this. You clearly, this is not your strength, but it is mine. And you at other times you're like, I got this. Right?
It's so true.
So I that's why I have Alex. And Alex sometimes calls me.
Yeah, I text you and I call you. And also a lot of times I've learned now just be like, well, what would Sybil say? And then I just do what you would do.
And I literally will be like, Alex in this situation would have so much more grace. And she would keep her effing mouth shut. And so I will just do that because it'll get me in way less trouble.
True.
So
True.
Yeah, 100% true. So have those people in your life. Keep them around. They're very good. We can tend to be drawn to people who either are completely different than us or exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I found that people who are exactly the same as me, although I like them as my friends, they're often not my best business people.
Yeah.
Because then we just like create fires everywhere.
And like, well, someone else will put that out.
Yeah, we just walk away. So the best people are people like Alex, where like they push you, they make you think different, and they call you on your shit.
Right? And thank you for allowing me to do that here on the show today.
Right. You should be like, no, Sybil, let's go deeper into that shit. Hold on, let me pile that poop away. 1 second. Right?
Wait, if it's any consolation, like my hands were really sweaty too. So I was definitely feeling that.
Right? That's just how it is. And this is the conversations you have to have. So perfectionism is a pain in the booty. It is hard and it's deep. And there's so many layers. I think this is like our 3rd episode on perfectionism because it just goes so deep down, dirty, gritty to your heart and soul.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll have more.
Yep.
But ways that you can get out of it. Okay. Ways that you can get out of it. You can learn what your triggers are. You can make timeline rules.
Yeah. Set realistic goals.
Right. Break down things so that it's not as big.
And tell the internet.
Tell the internet. Admit that you are a perfectionist.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, it's fine. Be a perfectionist. Just embrace it and just move on. Have somebody else who might be a perfectionist just like stand there and be like, it's cool. You're a perfectionist. I'm going to tell you to just move on and do the thing.
I did that for another friend this week too. I was just like, listen, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Just do this thing already.
Right. Just do the thing. I'm one perfectionist to another. Do the thing.
Just do it.
Because you also have known that other perfectionists are like the most unforgiving. We're like, just will you do the thing already?
Yeah. Shut up. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Just like get it over with already.
I am so involved in my own thing. I don't have time for your thing. Can you just do the thing already? We're brutal.
So this is a love letter to all of our overachiever perfectionists. We see you, we are you, and hopefully what we shared with you today is going to help you get that one boulder, that one project done.
Up the thing. And apparently work on one thing, not 4 things. So that's the thing I learned today.
Stop doing 4 things.
Do one thing. This is crazy to me. I'm like such a like multi everything at the same time. All the things.
No, what I do is your last bonus is I put it on a Post-it note and I put it on my wall so that I know that I'm not going to forget it because it's there and I can pick it back up when I'm ready. And sometimes later I'm like, you know what? That was a good idea then, but not that great of an idea now. And I move on.
All my ideas are magic. I'm not fucking with you. Every one of my ideas is magic. I've never put down an idea. Not ever.
I still have an idea, which I think you're going to tell me that I should still make happen, but
probably because it's magic.
I know. All right, we got to go. We have kept you here.
Right, this has been a great ep. Hopefully you've learned all the things, or at least some of the things.
But we want to hear about the things that you think you have learned. So, of course, we love it when you tag us on social media or you shoot us a DM. The show is at Skinfessional. Sybil is at Your Skin Fitness Expert. I am at Hala for Mala. All of that is in the show notes as well. And of course, you can give us a ring-a-ling to our box.
I know. I kind of want to put a picture of the giant diva vagina with our box now.
Brazilian vagine.
Yes, the vagine from Brazil.
Love it.
818-473-5277 is the number. Give us a ring-a-ling. I also did want to mention real quick that Breaker, for any of you who use Breaker as your podcasting service, they are going down, so find another one.
Can you hear us? Get something else.
Yes, they will not be available, and you won't know because they just will stop all your podcast feeding.
Spotify, I've heard great things about. If you don't have Spotify, I use Overcast, and I really like it. So.
And apparently just like regular iPod, whatever, that's just on your iPhone. Apple Podcast. Yeah, I mean, I use Downcast. There's a ton of them. Find another one.
A million of them, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So until next week.
Keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.